Hey everybody, what's going on? Emotep here, and I am sitting here with Dylan Camacho, our top 16 Rikku Toolbox deck, aka, or as he likes to call it, Mono Rikku deck.
Yeah.
So Dylan, give us a little, we'll get into the deck in a second right now, but tell us about the weekend first.
So weekend was pretty good up until about 20 minutes ago when I did my top 16 match. I got 0-2 by Chris Lopez, Ice Lightning. It's not the best matchup in the world, so that's going to probably scare people away from this deck because I think it's going to be a popular deck moving forward. It's not totally it's not totally favored with it. I think this deck definitely can beat it out. We just kind of need to go, it's a little 40-60, I think is where it's at. But weekend overall has been treating me really well. I went X2 in Swiss, went 3-0 early on, lunch break curse, and then just crashed after that for the next game.
Nice.
Fought my way through the pools on that one, and that was super good. Pools was really interesting. I had a different deck. I fought against a different deck every round of pools. So truly, I got to try the whole field on this deck, and I feel super good about it. The matches I lost, I feel like weren't one-sided, and it was very, I just didn't draw my outs, or I got locked out on a thing here or there. Sometimes opponents just go off, too, so.
Okay, cool. So I'm personally really excited about this, so let's get into it, man.
Yeah. So this is the deck list, and everybody's looking at this like, what the? And that's by design. So the idea originally started with, let's go ahead and focus right here on the Rikkus. Rikku and a little bit of Leo support here. The big thing here is everybody wants to sit here and play Warrior of Light right now because that's the sexy go-to card. Ashola is a great card right now. A lot of the strong techs were all in multi-elements. And I started to see a pattern here where some people were kind of doing what's called like a Mono Earth Rikku. They have all Mono Earth backups, you play Rikku, they color fixes, and then you just get to play whatever you want. You get to play all the best of the good stuff, right? So I went through several iterations of the backup line trying to get here. I eventually settled on actually getting away a little bit from just Mono Earth and then getting into a couple Elvises and some Arcanists. This is your Soiree killer right here. And a big thing for that for me was that 5 Earth backups is great when you can color fix every one of them, but I realized if I can just pick more specifically the Earth backups, or the Earth forwards rather, that are sharing a dual element, I'm already halfway there. I don't even have to worry about color fixing. So I was okay to budge on opening 1 to 2 deck slots to open up an Arcanist or Elvis because a lot of these are sharing fire, a lot of them are sharing ice, and so in a lot of those ways I was already pretty fixed in that way, right? So this went from more or less a Mono Earth backup lineup to a little bit of a tricolor one. But you don't really need all 3. What's good about this deck is that you don't need all 3 colors to be present. You don't need Elvis, Arcanist, and an Earth backup. You could go 3 Earth backups, be fine. You could go 4 Earth backups, Arcanists, and now you have Arcanists available with you, and you have new tools, right? This is very much a toolbox deck with, I think, not to brag, but a pretty high ceiling on what you can get away with doing in it. Looking at some of the bigger pieces here, Rikku is great on turning your overall break zone into a toolbox. I never felt too bad about running 2 ofs, Billy Bumps over here, 2 ofs or even sometimes 1 ofs, because there was a very good chance, especially in this current one with Mist Dragon not being very present, that I could just get away with cheating them back in. This was really great if I needed an outs to clutch out. I could just break in Stola. If I was able just to play Warrior of Light, great. That was always fantastic. Axstar, I think truly is the MVP here because if I could land a Rikku or any 3-drop, and then I could color fix Axstar into any of the other 3 CP ones, I almost always just won right there. You freeze out all their other non-3 CP ones. If they do have a 3 CP forward that isn't dual frozen, you probably just snipe it with the 9 CP or 9,000 power entry. And it just really came in clutch. If I was pulling White Tiger, which I would say is my favorite one to pair into this, you're freezing here, you're freezing backups, they're so slowed, and then by then you're already 3-4, hit, and take out the victory on that. A couple of the other odd cost ones here, I would say are Garnet and Kryl. So I realized there's a super cheeky combo here where with 5 CP Fenrir and 3 CP Fenrir, if you Fenrir in Kryl, she comes in, Fenrir, assuming it's in the break zone, target that, you free cast it, you can break any multi-element, and there's a lot of multi-elements right now, as you can see. So that was a lot of the big game plan. I think like many players here, we were teching for 13, so it came strong with 3 Hekkas because you just got to make sure that you survive, and once you get this backup line up, you're moving against most decks. We have a Hekka because I do like recurring some of that. Breaking backups has been actually really clutch this weekend. Ice Lightning, other than my top 16 match, my big wins were really coming from breaking and locking out their either their ice or their lightning, whichever one they didn't have more of. Mist Dragons speak for themselves. And a couple Q-Sys just to have some extra recursion value. But that's the gist of the deck. Otherwise, Infinite Loop right here, if they don't have interactions with it. Riku, Billy Bob, you can keep pulling each other's. So you have a lot of legs into the late game. But I think it shines in mid-range. I think you really want to hit it in turns 4, 5, 6, and then really clutch it out. If you're fighting a really souped-out control deck, it gets a little tricky. But you have answers. If you get them to 6, Y'shtola can just win if they don't deal with it.
Cool. The other thing I guess I want to ask about your matchups is which one, obviously not to give away the weaknesses or anything, but which ones do you struggle with more than others? Like, I totally agree with the hecatons, of course. That was like, if you're playing Earth, you're playing 3 of those.
Yes.
For obvious reasons, but if you don't see them, is it really bad though? Like, are we like?
No, so you're definitely not. You're not up the creek, so to speak. If you're facing something a little quicker and you're not drawing the 3 Hekkas, right? So 2 CP Shantoto, or the 2 Sanchotos, obviously are another staple for removal on that. I learned that my strategy into that one would be Amber as the soiree package in itself, like these 3 cards, right? We're looking at these. I don't know, these cards love me. I'm a soiree gamer at heart, so I took the engine here, and I typically tended to get to 2 backups pretty quickly, 3rd one pretty soon right after that. So from there, you really just kind of jam out Riku or Leo, and then you just play some bodies, right? But many of these bodies are very responsive. What I'm banking on with aggro is that they're turn 1, turn 2, playing forward, swing. By the time I've got 3 backups and they're activating, I'm hopefully already color fixed. I pitch here, and then I just play something to lock them out. Y'shtola is gonna come in and take one of their forwards most of the time. You're swinging and dealing damage. That leaves me with 1 blocker typically. We just freeze, all their other stuff on that one. So most of this stuff is allowed to be very reactive as well as aggressive. It's one of the few decks I really enjoyed about being able to aggressively and defensively use dull freezes to sit there and lock out my board.
Now that your tournament day is over, what kind of changes are you looking to make, or where could you make improvements? Just
Yes.
Something that you had in the box that you didn't sleeve up because you chose to bring, I don't know, Garnet, for example. Like,
right.
What stayed in the box here?
I think a lot of it still stays. Not to toot my own horn, and I love anybody to take a shot at like showing their own refinements to it. I think like the real flex cards in play here could easily be. We look at 5 cards here as kind of like the changing things, and I think you can change these to be tech to whatever makes sense, right? As long as they're within Ice and Fire. So if we're looking at techs, I think the Earth packages here and these cards are staple. I think this is the best that we can probably get it to. Some people run Claris into Kefka into Epitaph to get Leo. That's a searcher package, but I felt way more comfortable with Soiree because it gives me burst. Otherwise, Garnet is definitely a tech card. Trial is definitely a tech card. Zeramis I think sticks, and most of these other ones kind of land. If Warrior of Light, I can see this one going down to 2 possibly as well, if people were wanting to sit here and look into that. I think he's too good at to not be running at least 2, but as you can see, again, a lot of these are 2, so recursion's not that bad, and he's good to pitch for the other ones. So overall, I would say these 3 here, maybe on some of these ones, these are where you want to tech in and out.
Cool.
Overall, if I would say what to tech in, right now we're looking at a lot of Ice Lightning according to this Materia Cup. So, whatever tools would be super good for that. My brain's a little fried after the weekend, so maybe you're going to have to hit me up on DMs to figure out what those tools are after I figure them out.
Cool, and why don't you tell everyone where we can reach you and where we can find you?
Yeah, so catch me on Facebook. I'm all over in the group. You can catch me posting random wacky content. I've got a travel blog stuff I've been kind of trying to put together for this weekend, so keep an eye out for that. I'll put that out. Feel free to message me at any time, literally on Facebook. If you want to tech, you want to geek out on this, I'm so favorite to talk about it. Otherwise, you can catch that stuff over on the FN 2 letters podcast. That's where I put all my Final Fantasy content. I have like 2 videos right now. It's not much. And if you're looking for stuff that's not going to make you better, looking for stuff that's going to make you a better player, stick in this video. Because right now I'm not making that content. But travel blog stuff will be entertaining. A lot of this other stuff will be entertaining. Maybe I'll do some more constructive, actually build up the player stuff from there. But I guess we'll see.
All right, man. Yeah. Well, Dylan, I'll make sure to leave all those links in the description below. Shout outs to The Light, of course, for sponsoring our good friend Dylan here. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you very much.
Yeah.